Welcome to Entertainment, the channel with the most deceptive name in all of YouTube. So let's start out by saying that I know that most of these punches actually did land and hurt the fighters, but they just look extremely weak visually. It's kinda like when you think you can do something better than a professional athlete, but you're just living in a fantasy world. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below. Also, make sure to turn on those notifications. Let's get started. This fight just happened last month when Charlo and Jason Rosario met to unify titles in the super welterweight division. Charlo is a pretty strong puncher, having 18 knockouts in his 34 wins, and was able to put down Rosario on the canvas 2 times in this fight before the last knockout.
Obviously with the win, through the first half of this title unification fight as Charlo hurt Rosario with that left hook.
The knockout punch is hard for people to understand that it could be that powerful and knock out Rosario, who had only lost once before by knockout, since it was a jab to the body.
Watch out for that left hook. And oh my! Wow, down goes Rosario from a jab to the body, and he's in trouble.
It didn't even look to be that powerful of a punch. Maybe he was completely taken by surprise with that punch, since he had just blocked the first body shot to his chest. Rosario afterwards said that he was still hurt from the knockdown in the 6th round, and that's why he couldn't get up. I don't know, man. He just seemed to have all the air taken out of his body and just started shaking like he was having a seizure. It looked weak, but I don't think Rosario is that good of an actor, so it must have actually really hurt. This has to be one of the weakest looking punches that caused a huge conspiracy, and that was when Oscar De La Hoya took on Bernard Hopkins in 2004. Hopkins was regarded as the best pound for pound fighter by many people and held 5 titles in the middleweight division. De La Hoya was actually up on one of the judges' scorecards coming into the final round, while Hopkins was up on the other 2. The knockout punch is controversial to say the least.
De La Hoya was left, banging hard with the right. De La Hoya with another good left hook to the body.
I mean, it looks like a great place punch right to the liver, but I think people see his delayed reaction and also the way he is seen in agony on the canvas after the knockout as a sign that he is faking it. Also, Hopkins would later become a partner in Golden Boy Promotions and served as the East Coast representative, so they see this as Oscar's business deal. This was the first time De La Hoya had been knocked out in his career. Sergey Kovalev is known as the Crusher, meaning that he has some power in his hands, and his record of 29 knockouts and 34 wins confirms that fact. But in 2019, he was fighting against Anthony Yarde from Great Britain, and this final knockout came by way of a jab.
Takes another huge right hand, and another. Oh, he's gone! He's gone! It was the left hand that did it, and the fight, I think, is all over there.
Kovalev is known for having a very good and strong jab, so there is a great chance that it's hard enough to put somebody down. Also, Yarde was coming in and did not expect that jab, which hit cleanly right on the button. Another contributing factor was that Yarde has never fought past the 7th round, as he is a power puncher as well, thus was extremely tired at this point. Now we have another knockout with a jab. This time it came from Liam Williams back in 2015 when he was facing off against Chris Carson. Williams was winning the fight, putting down Carson with body shots.
World titles, great boxing tradition, north of the border of course, but it's looking good for the Welshman. He lands one when he's down.
The final shot is probably the worst knockout with a jab I have ever seen.
This for Liam Williams, the back end of 2014. Oh, good left hand again.
They say that if a fighter falls straight down on their face, the fight is over, and well, this jab was completely devastating. Carson didn't even put his hands down, which made this a very shocking knockout. It is just a jab, but Williams was timing that punch the entire time, and as soon as Carson made a move, Williams threw the punch and it landed perfectly, and I don't think Carson saw it coming at all. Now we reach a fight that may have been a dive. This was another jab, but it came from Alexander Milienko, so it might matter less that it was a jab because this guy is a complete monster. He was fighting against Eddie Benson. I really can't see how this is a strong enough punch to be a knockout because Milienko was really reaching to try and land that jab, and Benson was moving back, which really takes a lot of power away from the jab. This was also 40 seconds into the first round. Though Benson seems to be complaining about something with his nose, which could mean that he quit because of an injury. But what really makes this kind of controversial is the fact that he fell to the canvas pretty hard and then stayed down for minutes, which signifies that he was actually knocked out, which I find hard to believe. So, Bob Sapp. Yes, you probably knew that he was going to be on here. Sapp is huge. He is 6'5" and weighs around 330 pounds, but a ton of people see him as a giant crybaby. He has one of the worst records for such a well-known fighter, only winning 12 fights out of 31 in kickboxing and 12 out of 33 in MMA. He seems to quit a ton of fights, and sometimes it seems like the knockout blows are extremely weak. One of the worst ones that I found was when he fought against Mirko Cro Cop. Many people see this as Bob Sapp quitting the fight after taking some hits that didn't seem to be that brutal, if you consider what Cro Cop can actually do. I mean, he doesn't seem to be knocked out, he just kind of starts crying about having a lot of pain. Well, even if those hits don't look that solid, the kick hit him right in the liver, then the punch broke Sapp's orbital bone and required immediate surgery to repair the damage. So those were some hard hits. The Gracie family is legendary, and one that started his career pretty well was Holz Gracie, only losing one time in his first 9 fights. But it all came crashing down when he fought against Derek Memen in 2013, when he got knocked out.
Time that if you're pulling your head back, you're eating a jab at the same time. Got a big right. Memen time.
The punch landed right on the button, but Gracie's reaction afterward is extremely weird. It's just like all those times when you're playing with your friends and this is how you pretend to be knocked out, because you don't actually know how it looks. So it's just a very strange knockout reaction, but the punch does land perfectly on the chin. James Thompson is known for having a pretty weak chin, but this knockout in his fight against Butterbean doesn't seem to be the best punch you have ever seen coming from Butterbean.
It is. Oh, that's about it. I mean, that's about it.
So looking at this portion of the video, it looks just to be a glancing shot right off of Thompson's nose, but Butterbean had actually hurt Thompson right before this.
I think that, there it is. There you go. There it is. Oh, that's about it. I mean, that's about it.
I think that if you combine both of these hits together, then we can consider that this is a good knockout. Butterbean is a really powerful puncher, but a clip on the nose just doesn't seem enough to actually knock somebody out. But if you take everything into account, Thompson's glass chin and the previous punch, then we can say it's pretty good. Another fighter who was seen as having a glass chin is Alistair Overeem, and in 2017 he was fighting against Sergey for K1. He started the fight pretty well against a much bigger man, but toward the end of the first round he was getting caught with good hits until this happened. That first shot was pretty strong, but it was at the top of the head, which you rarely see actually hurt somebody. But Overeem did not like it one bit. The last punch is where people might say that it might have been a little weak. But if you notice, it was towards the back of the head, which causes a ton of damage, as is clearly visible as Overeem almost flies out of the ring through the ropes. And of course, let's end with the weakest looking punch on this list. This is Lawrence Dennis, fighting from the southpaw position, and his opponent is Kevin Ferrant. It is such a slow and short hook that it's hard to believe it would knock somebody out. But Ferrant was bobbing and weaving, and he was moving his head to the left when Dennis threw his short right hook that landed right on the button. Both motions just meshed together to create this beautiful looking knockout that may look weak if you look at it in full speed. I gotta say, sitting here at my desk making this video, it's pretty easy to dismiss these knockouts as weak looking or whatever you want to call it. But I would probably go down with a no-touch knockout technique, though my opinion doesn't really matter. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.